before every room had its own glowing screen, evening used to arrive all at once, with the screen doors snapping shut, a porch light clicking on, and the smell of supper still hanging in the kitchen. The whole house seemed to feel it. And for many Americans, that ordinary hour remains one of the deepest feelings of home. This is not just about life before smartphones, tablets, streaming, and endless scrolling. It is about the texture of evening back then, when the night was something people entered together, when the neighborhood settling down felt like an event, when the house did not break into separate worlds, but moved as one quiet living place toward bedtime. Back then, evening lived in that stretch after supper and before sleep. The day had not fully ended yet, but it no longer belonged to work, errands, or rushing. In many homes, the kitchen still held the brightest light in the house. A lamp had come on in the living room. Outside, the street was losing its color by degrees. One porch light appeared, then another farther down the block, until the neighborhood began glowing softly from within. That was the first feeling of it. Not darkness exactly, not night yet. Just the last bit of daylight fading from the street while the house gathered itself. Children were often still outside, stretching the day as far as they could. Bicycle tires rolled over warm pavement. A rubber ball struck a driveway. Chalk marks lingered near the curb. Somewhere a sprinkler clicked across a lawn. Somewhere else a dog barked once, then settled. The air had changed too. The heat of the day was easing, and the first sound of cicadas began rising out of the trees. Then came one of the most familiar sounds of all, a voice from a porch or back step calling somebody in. One child answered, then another. Then another screen door slammed somewhere down the block. That was when the evening truly began. Inside, supper had just ended, or was ending. Chairs slid back from the table. A glass of iced tea left a damp ring behind. Someone reached for the last biscuit. Someone folded a napkin and stood up. Children lingered another minute, still talking, while the grown-ups had already shifted into that next quiet part of the night. And the room held onto the meal a little longer. The smell stayed first. Roast chicken, fried onions, meatloaf, buttered corn, coffee, pie cooling on the counter, dish soap waiting by the sink. In many homes, the evening was not announced by a clock. It was announced by scent, by light, by the sound of plates being stacked one on top of another. Then came the dishes. Supper dishes had a whole music of their own. Ceramic against countertop, forks and spoons dropping into the sink, water running hot, a cabinet door opening, a dish towel shaken out once before drying began. Sometimes a radio played low near the window. Sometimes somebody in the next room said something funny, and the laughter traveled right back into the kitchen. Nothing grand was happening. That was the beauty of it. The family did not need a special activity to feel together. The evening itself created that feeling. People stayed within earshot. A story began at the table, continued over the sink. Someone in the living room could still hear the dishes. Someone drying plates could still hear the television in the next room, turned on but not yet important enough to pull the whole house toward it. That was the difference. The evening was shared before it was consumed. In many homes, after the dishes were done, or at least partly done, the porch became part of the night's routine. Porch steps still held a little warmth from the sun. A metal glider creaked gently. A porch swing moved in small, slow arcs. A glass jar sweated in somebody's hand, ice clicking softly inside. The bug light near the door might have started drawing moths. Farther out, the street grew quieter, but not empty. Someone watered the lawn. Someone leaned on a railing. Someone across the way called hello without getting up. Porches belonged to evenings the way kitchens belonged to mornings. Not because anything dramatic happened there, but because they allowed people to remain open to the world while the world was winding down. Neighbors were not putting on a performance for one another. They were simply present. Away from across the street, a few words about the weather. A mention of somebody's tomatoes, somebody's grandkids, somebody's long day at work. Then silence again, and that silence did not feel awkward. It felt full. The hum of summer insects, the creak of the swing chain, the passing headlights of a car moving slowly through the neighborhood. The distant crackle of a baseball game playing from somebody's garage radio, the faint buzz of a bug zapper, the sound of an America that still spent its evenings listening. Inside the house, the sounds changed as the night deepened. An old box fan turned in the corner with that steady, dusty hum. A window air conditioner rattled and clicked. Floorboards answered when somebody crossed the hallway in bare feet. A lamp came on in one bedroom while another room went dark. The refrigerator door opened and closed. The telephone rang once from the wall, sharp enough for the whole house to hear. There was usually only one phone, and that changed the feeling of a call. When it rang, everybody knew it. Someone said, "I'll get it." And the conversation became part of the evening for a few minutes. The long cord stretched toward the hallway. A voice dropped lower. Somebody smiled. Somebody waited to hear who it was. Maybe it was an aunt, maybe a neighbor, maybe a friend asking if tomorrow's plan was still on. Then the receiver was set back in place, and the night resumed its shape. No one vanished afterward. That mattered more than people realized at the time. A whole evening could pass without anyone truly leaving the room. Even when the television was on, it often lived inside the room. Instead of replacing it, a sitcom flickered softly. The evening news played while someone read the paper in an armchair. A ball game murmured in the background while folded laundry moved from the sofa to a bedroom. Children could sit on the floor coloring or looking through a comic while the adults half watched, half talked, half listened. The TV was there, but the house was still more powerful than the TV. That is a feeling many people still remember, even if they have never put it into words. Because the living room was not only for watching, it was for settling, for hearing ice in a glass, for hearing someone ask what time it was, for seeing lamplight on the carpet while the windows turned black, for knowing everyone else was still close by, even in silence. And then, little by little, the house began lowering its voice. Children who had been outside were now bathed and changed. Pajama drawers opened. Bathroom mirrors fogged. Damp hair was combed. A mother or father called down the hallway to hurry up and brush teeth. Somewhere a towel hit the hamper. Somewhere else a bedspread was turned down. This was when the house felt most tender. The kitchen was cleaner now. The porch had mostly emptied. The living room had grown dimmer except for a lamp and the small blue-gray flicker of the television. A hallway light stayed on. Through a cracked bedroom window came the sound of cicadas, an occasional passing car, and maybe the soft rattle of somebody's old air conditioner from the next house over. And from bed, children could still hear the life of the house continuing around them. The low murmur of adults talking in the next room. A dish placed carefully into the drainer. A chair shifting across the floor. One last trip down the hallway. A lamp clicking off. For many Americans, that was one of the safest feelings in the world. To be in bed while the house was still awake. To know that everyone had not disappeared into separate places. To hear the night arriving in layers, and to feel the whole home carrying itself gently towards sleep. That may be the part people miss most. Not simply fewer screens, but more shared presence. More overheard voices, more common time, more pauses that belong to everyone in the house at once. Evening used to have a structure that did not need to be planned. It unfolded through small rituals, familiar sounds, and rooms that remained connected to one another. I think that is why even the smallest detail from those nights can still bring so much back. The click of a porch light, the slap of an aluminum screen door, the hum of an old fan in the hallway. Children called in at dusk, a baseball game on the radio somewhere nearby. The smell of supper still hanging in warm kitchen light. None of it sounds important on paper, but together it formed the emotional architecture of evening. Back then, night did not begin with everyone turning away from one another. It began with the house drawing inward, with neighbors still visible, with voices still close, with time slowing just enough for people to hear where they were. That was what made those evenings feel so complete. Not because every night was special, but because ordinary nights were allowed to be fully lived. And maybe that is why the memory still lingers so deeply. A porch light glowing against the dark, the street finally emptying, the television low in the next room, the kitchen clean at last, the whole house breathing more quietly than it did an hour before. Sometimes, I think people do not miss the old evening itself as much as they miss the feeling of everyone still being there. All of it close at hand, all of it unfolding slowly. All of it held together by the soft sounds of home. And for a moment, if the memory comes back clearly enough, the whole house is alive again.